How's it going, everyone, and welcome to the Ultimate Gamer's Radiocam. This is Dixon logging on. Today I'll be talking about my first impression on a long-awaited remake of one of the most iconic Cyberpunk games ever. System Shock. I can tell you quite a few things about the remake. It's quite faithful to the original. Even though there's definitely a few things different about the game in general compared to the original, but they can't exactly be the same, if you know what I mean. Because the original one feels more like kind of like a first-person point-and-click interface type of game. But the remake's more like is a first-person shooter all around. And both versions actually has different type of difficulties for each preference, like combat or cyberspace or puzzles and all that. I actually tried to play the System Shock remake on normal difficulty, and that was pretty tough for me. For my first timer. Well, it's not exactly my first timer because I played the demo. I did a Let's Play on the demo over a year ago, so. But still, it is quite a difficult game, even if you have it all on an easy difficult setting. Boy, I'm loving the shit out of it. For $40, it's definitely worth to get. I think what the Night Dive Studios was trying to do is trying to aim their love for the classic into the remake for modern audiences. Which is actually pretty cool to me because it actually feels old school at the same time. Even though it doesn't have the original soundtrack from the original game, but it has this ambient soundtrack, which is pretty awesome. It's quite fitting. The remake of System Shock is totally faithful to the original, but it will never overwrite the original. It treats the original like it's kind of like a different game at the same time. I will always go back into the original regardless, as well as the sequel to the original. Speaking of the sequel to the original, there's going to be an enhanced edition of the second game coming. If you already had the System Shock game pre-ordered, the remake pre-ordered before that, which I did, you get the enhanced edition of System Shock 2 for free. Of course, a few years back, Night Dive Studios did an enhanced edition of System Shock 1. They did an awesome job, and that's the version I played the most, too. Of course, you can also play the old DOS version. It's cool they added the old DOS version as well, too, but I like how they did do with their remastered games, like with the System Shock and etc. Anyway, this is definitely pretty much their first big game they did. I mean, Night Dive Studios are really excellent at remastering most of the iconic 90s first-person shooter games and other games from that era. But System Shock Remake was pretty much their first big project they did from scratch. And boy, they nailed it. And boy, this game's actually as gory as ever, too. Yeah, which weapon you use, especially. This is definitely one of the best remakes I ever played. Definitely one of the best games of 2023. And I have to say, I've been waiting for this game for quite some time. This game's been in development for years, and it finally came out on the 30th of May. I was kind of expecting them to even push it back, but they pretty much met their match on the 30th, so, and they nailed it. Hopefully a VR version of the game would come in mind for this one. That would be pretty awesome. In the meantime, I do think the System Shock remake is quite faithful. Do I like it better than the original? Well, yes and no. I love the original really well, even though that one has some of its odd moments. or even dated moments at times too. I mean, with the Enhanced Edition, that's pretty much the better one to go for when you're playing on modern OSs. As well as the upcoming System Shock 2 Enhanced Edition. Well, anyway, I don't have anything else to say, but all I can say is System Shock is pretty much my #1 game of 2023. Hopefully it'll stay the same at the end of the year. There's other good games coming out too, like the remake of Alone in the Dark. I played the prologue of that one, and that one was faithful to the original, and it seems definitely promising. I'm looking forward to seeing that one too. And the remake of Resident Evil 4, I didn't think it was that necessary, but I heard good things about it. I was hoping they did a remake of Resident Evil Code Veronica first, because that one needed love. But however, I think the remake of System Shock was going to be more happier with this game. Even though it kicks my ass time to time, while I'm kicking ass at the same time. I will do a full project on the System Shock games. Right now, this is just my first impression, doing unscripted first impression, and giving you my thoughts about it. So, anyway, that's all I gotta say about it. System Shock Remake is definitely a recommended game for Cyberpunk fans, and fans of System Shock as well. Thank you very much, Night Dive Studios. This is Dixon of the Ultimate Gamer Realm, logging off.